Yes, hello, I am James Rowland today. It's the WNR385. It's AEW Prelude, and I have a pleasure to be joined by Jaxie. How you doing?
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to WNR.
People can get used to this. You've become like a regular on the show. Of course, joined us last time out.
Yep, I know. You asked me here once, and then I've just never left.
Well, it's nice, and like I said, the responses we get from you being on the show as well is always positive. So that's a great thing.
Great.
But little birdie
Always
told me you had a birthday in our two shows. I mean, I know it's rude to ask the age. I was going to say how much you weigh, but I don't think that'll work either.
No, I'm pretty comfortable with telling my age anyway. I turned 32, so I'm very happy with that. Had a great birthday, so thank you for asking.
Well, that's excellent, and of course, anybody's birthday to you as well. I'm still 28, so But anyway, we'll move along. So we have 4 episodes of Dynamite and Rampage. It has been a big month, but before that we haven't actually had Jaxie on All Out. So, like I said, incredible pay-per-view. Yeah. How would you describe the feeling of the show, and what were your thoughts coming out of it?
I mean, it was just one giant adrenaline rush, wasn't it? It was just amazing. The whole show itself, every single wrestler just put their all into it. Every match delivered. Yeah, I mean, that cage match, that steel cage match. Oh, I still haven't gotten over it. The Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks are just phenomenal tag teams, and they just proved that in the ring. It was amazing.
Have you watched it in its entirety again the first time round?
How did you know?
It's weird, but everybody else, including myself, has actually rewatched it, and I think that just shows how good a show it was.
Exactly, you are exactly right. I mean, what's not to want to rewatch? That like I said, every single match just delivered. Every wrestler put their all into it, and it was just such an entertaining pay-per-view. It's got to be one of the strongest of the year.
Oh, this is a thing. People saying it was the greatest show of all time, and I go straight to WrestleMania. But when you look at it, it was fantastic, and not only starting off like with the surprises at the end and the debut. I've never seen. It's 4 hours, and usually we piss and moan, and at the end, I was like, I could watch more.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of just left feeling even more hyper than even towards throughout the whole rest of the other matches, and I just kind of felt like I was buzzing straight after just seeing all these new surprises joining us at All Elite. I mean, you got to admit though, Daniel Bryan has gotten buff, right? He looked so good. I think this is like the best he's looked in shape and everything. I love the new sort of like entrance music and how he's put sort of a twist and a bit of a beat in there with it. It just, everything about it I loved.
But the other thing I loved as well, of course, obviously we do NXT update at the WNR. When Adam Cole, with the Adam Cole baby, like the AEW fans, there's nothing from NXT would take. They were desperate to do it, and you can just see the joy on their faces. And like I said, it's successful. Really I said, and it was just a show. Like I said, that's what we're going to today. Fallout as it was, and Tony Khan as well saying that it easily topped the 200,000 buy mark. It's a big milestone that nobody had hit in the country for a long time. Part and parcel of your network, but for 200, and this just at the moment again, AEW is at a pinnacle, and it's kind of never been better at this point leading out the paper.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you there.
Well, let's see how they fuck it up. So what are we going to do? No. They might
Don't jinx it, James. If they fuck it up, it's your fault now.
Well, I've been watching a lot of wrestling for a long time, and, we'll see what happens. Usually this doesn't last too long, but we're going to make the most of it. September 8th, and like we said, a big main event and the debuts from All Out. We get hyping up the car for tonight. We get Dustin Rhodes versus Malachi Black. Now, I look at notes before the show, and this has completely passed me by, even though I did. Malachi Black weathered an early onslaught by Dustin Rhodes and drove him through the timekeeper's table. Black retrieved the boot. Cody Rhodes took off during his tease retirement. Caught his older brother Rick. Black sent Rhodes into exposed ring post and just barely caught one. What were your thoughts on this? Because I was like, fuck me, AEW is stacked at this point.
I mean, it really is. And, I mean, it just goes to show that match was so good. Malachi Black and Dustin Rhodes both worked so well together. And it just, they just went hard straight from the very get-go.
I think without a doubt, and I was going to start the conversation now, but probably do it a little bit later, about Aleister Black being a heel, and of course what we've seen with Cody Rhodes as well. But I think direction is key for, I say Malachi Black, God almighty, because with the amount of people that have come in and the change, it'd be difficult to kind of keep your head above water, so to speak. Celebrating their title win as well. Then we get a video package and a promo for the Kingston low blow. Then CM Punk makes it a beaming over Darby Allin. And it's crazy because we've talked about steel cage match and the debuts. And like I said, CM Punk's first match in 7 years. And it was a fantastic one against Darby Allin.
Yeah, it was an amazing one to watch, really. And I thoroughly enjoyed seeing the wave of just white T-shirts that were in the arena. Yeah. Just all there to watch that match. It was just actually a sight to behold. I would have loved to have been in that crowd wearing one of the same T-shirts, but unfortunately it's sold out. Can you guys save some for the UK fans, please?
Well, like I said, when the rumours going around about rumours, but if the shows that are being planned for AEW and WWE, then hopefully can top the paper, it should be a good time. But talk about CM Punk's next. And Taz interrupted, and CM Punk looked at him. He said, "Doesn't matter if you send Ricky Starks, Hook, or Will Hobbs. Beat me if you can. Survive if I let you." Catchphrase. Punk soaks in the crowd. So, I mean, I'm just really loving it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I tend to get quite emotional. As you all know, I tend to get emotional, whether it be angry or sad or anything like that when it comes to watching wrestling. But CM Punk can really bring me to tears from just watching how grateful he is at watching everyone's reaction to him being back. And it is such a great feeling. It is so nice to see him in a wrestling ring.
And the thing I like about him as well is that if you ever met CM Punk, you would be desperate to go up to him. And he might be an arsehole, but he wouldn't upset you because he's always said that. And even now, that he's given is like, yeah, I used to be a dick and I'm trying to be better now, but that's why we love him.
Yeah, I just think that Punk is maybe sometimes a bit too brutally honest, but that is one thing that really stands out about him as well, is that, a lot of people don't like to hear the truth, even when it's hard for them to hear. Punk gives it to us raw, and that is one of his redeeming qualities, I would say, as a person, as a wrestler, and as an idol to everyone. He speaks his mind, and he's forever stood up for what he believes in, whether or not that is, within his career or within, a wrestling ring. So everyone can get behind that. Everyone can appreciate that. And that is why he gets so much appreciation and so much love.
Yeah, I think without doubt, we see Ortiz and Santana cut a promo about how they're the best and they demand to be proven wrong. Tony Schiavone in Soho backstage got lucky, but then Dr. Britt Baker rolls up for quite a long time and they break into it. And Baker run away to catering. She spent the last 4 years of her life. I mean, you just watch it and you're going, oh my, didn't. That's my reaction.
No, do you know what? I was living for it. I wanted it to be more. I mean, obviously we know that they roast each other even more soon, and we'll talk about that soon. But it was just so funny to see that, because of, they're always making jabs like that in WWE as well, even when it comes just to the whole catering joke, So hearing them bring that up as well in AEW, you can't help but laugh.
No, it's really, really good stuff. And then Dante Powerhouse Will Hobbs. And Dante got caught in a dive around him, Presley into a ring post, but he flew over an interfering hook and wiped his large opponent out on the floor. Hobbs, though, caught his opponent and drove him into mat with a spine buster for the victory. Just on the thoughts on this, I would love to see Dante versus Montez Ford. And like I said, they can meet about 20 feet in the air, what they want. Looked like Hobbs was not silly a little bit like this, and you've got to be careful with concussions.
Definitely. I mean, I was hoping it wasn't anything too serious like a concussion. So hopefully it's not. But yeah, it's really amazing to see Dante, kind of being able to show off his strengths. And yes, Will Hobbs has his own strengths when it comes to, brute strength. Dante is on a whole nother level and just lives on air. Seeing someone like him take on Montez Ford would actually.
It's like a firework, when you watch it,
Yeah,
because your
yeah.
reaction is not cheering or booing.
You know what? I'd I'd actually even raise you one and say make it a triple threat and put Ali into it, Mustafa Ali from WWE, because when WWE allow him to be himself, he is an amazing high flyer himself. I would love to see these three in a triple threat.
Yeah, book it now. Book it now. Well,
Okay.
we see Dan Lambert is in the balcony with a men of the 5'9" dorks suck. There's two real men wrestling. This guy Evan Page. If you're so tough in the guy in the locker room, you can shut them up. The truth burns, and we get the old ECW chant of "shut the fuck up," which we've not heard in a while.
Yeah.
But boy, it's good to hear on.
I mean, I think he probably causes more impact for those that do already know him, and of course Americans. Because I don't know who he is, I think it comes across more the sense of just wanting him to shut the fuck up, because I don't think that I think he's more all talk and nothing else. I'm kind of looking forward to see what comes out of this for both Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, though. Aside from putting aside the fact that they are currently playing heels, I think both of them are brilliant wrestlers. I still remember Ethan Page versus Darby Allin. I thought that was a great match. So I'm kind of intrigued to see them kind of dominate the tag division, or see if they can dominate the tag division. Although, let's just quickly clarify now, my heart belongs to Santana and Ortiz. They're my number one.
Well, we get a video. Whatever. And then we get Maxwell Jacob. He wasted little time making the pill interrupt with German suplex and flattening Griff Garrison with a lariat clothesline on the baby. I ran as well, as you probably know. And for me, the question is, was it worth the heat in this segment? Could he get a reaction by not talking about Pillman's mum? Or anything else like that we're going to see? I just want to know your thoughts on this before I proper bash it.
So, I mean, I think that there is still like a fine line that people should tread carefully on, especially when they speak ill of the dead. It's one thing to kind of do a bit of a roasting, and then it's another to be outright insulting. I think MJF still needs to kind of find that medium. That being said, he's a brilliant heel. I just think with his words, he was maybe a little bit too much.
Well, the thing is, and I don't want to bring up future promos by MJF, but I will. And it's the case of, like, you hear Punk and Bryan saying, well, the way Brody Lee and the kind of situation, not exploitive like maybe WWE have done with kind of Eddie Guerrero, but it's fine to say about someone's dead brother and, you know what I mean, and about his dead father as well. Because, hey, Tony Khan said it's all right, and he's a heel getting heat. And you think, if you're that good a heel, anybody can say the most shocking thing. Yeah, and get a reaction. Doesn't mean necessarily that it means you're a good heel. It just means you say anybody can, and it doesn't mean they're a class bad guy. It just means you're an asshole. I mean, again, I don't want to go off.
Yeah, I get you.
And anyway, Wardlow hopefully will kill him in the future, so that'll be.
Yeah, you could see it coming at some point.
Right, I've calmed down now. We'll move on. John Moxley cuts a promo where he calls Suzuki out. He puts him over his die. And then Jamie Hayter, delivered a backbreaker, answered with a hard stomp. But Rio made outnumbered. Chris Statlander ultimately made a save. What do you think of it?
I mean, I really loved everything about it. I loved the unity that you saw towards the end of the match with, Rio and Chris Statlander both coming out to make the save. I really see potential in this Jamie Hayter. But I feel like I'm not sure whether or not they should have partnered her as sort of the strength for Britt Baker, just because I'm worried that she's going to job out quite a lot, and I think that she's got potential. So I just hope that they don't, that she doesn't turn into a jobber. That's my only concern.
Well, like I said, there weren't two moment where I thought, but apart from that, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. But
I think if she had like a lot more, if she had more matches like frequently, I think she could, definitely gain a lot more experience. But I also just worry that she will continue to kind of be sort of like the one that gets beat instead of Britt, because obviously they'll want to keep the belt on her for a while and make her that heel. So that means that they're going to have someone fight on behalf of her. And I'm worried that could thwart her,
Yeah, the thing is, well, this is not taking a shot at AEW. The women get maybe one match on Dynamite, which is not the same as, people to live. Hopefully, like I said, even like I said, with, Jay Cargill, and can build that experience. Hopefully in years, if it's this bad in a year's time, then we might have a bigger problem. But at the moment, exposure as well. Like I said, it was okay, and we see Brian Cakey Stark's video to settle things at some point, and then we get Dark Order saying they're fine, proceed to bicker each other until Anna Jay comes in to set them straight, and then we get Dark Order versus the Pinnacle. Yes, that's still a thing. Cash Wheeler, Dax Harbour, and Sean Spears. Nearly on the same page throughout the contest, the Bayface had momentum on the side late. The kicks to Grayson led to a death match. The Dark Order came to blows. They watched what you're suffering.
This is really good storytelling. I love that. I love everything to do with Dark Order. They have my heart. So, of course, I feel heartbroken to watch my family be arguing right now. I really do want to see. I'm intrigued to see where all of this sort of arguing between the Dark Order goes. And as much as I dislike seeing them all argue, I am really enjoying it because of its, like I said, good storytelling.
I think without a doubt, we see Tully Blanchard. Current promo wants Tony Khan to book Sean Spears versus Darby Allin next week and threatens to wrestle Sting again himself in the process. Sammy Guevara makes his entrance to his cue card gimmick during a break, who seems to wrestle less than CM Punk at this moment in time. And then the Varsity Blondes are in the trainer's office in their health. Tony Khan got himself a match from MJF 22nd at half. Then we see Tony Schiavone's in the ring and introduces the greatest faction in pro wrestling, Elite. They immediately introduced Adam Cole, threatened Schiavone over his friendship with Britt Baker and ordered him out of a couple of braggadocious promo. How good was this? When he picked
that was really good because of I must admit, right? I did when he first turned up at All Out. One of my questions really was, are he and Britt going to establish that they are a thing within AEW or not? And I just really loved how heel he went with this, how the jealous type, stay away from her sort of thing, as if Tony and her are nothing but friends. But the fact that he's already showing that he feels threatened just adds to his character, adds layers to his character. It was really enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't try anyway. We see Bryan Danielson interrupting the proceedings, comes face-to-face with Kenny Omega. The AEW champion asked for the ring, but the American Dragon snatched the gauntlet. He grabbed hold of an armbar for the Elite, jumped him. Then Jurassic Express, Christian Cage ring, fended off the heels and beat the hell out of Brandon Cutler. You see the Bucks lose the belts, but still Elite. And that nose ear pierce at that point is crazy. We'll see.
Oh my gosh, they get more elaborate each week, don't they?
You think they must be loving it, coming up with this and going, right, I tell you what we're going to do. Right, if you got any, blonde dye, let's do our moustaches and stuff like that.
I can just imagine them on one of those online shopping clothing stores, and they just find the most ridiculous outfit and they WhatsApp it to one another I just found the greatest outfit that will make us look like the biggest pricks ever. Look. And they're like, yep, let's buy it.
Yes. Well, we find out Adam Cole is going to debut against Frankie Kazarian next week, and then the main event is Jon Moxley Suzuki. The double tough fall through punches, exchange breathtaking clothesline. To the target attack by in the end, Suzuki is eye blooded from the intensely physical battle. Some shift as Moxley earned a grueling victory in front of his Cincinnati friends, fans, and family. And of course, he's celebrating this to close out the show. What were your thoughts on?
Really enjoyed this match. It was really good. This was my first time actually watching Suzuki wrestle, so I was really intrigued and interested to kind of see what he brought, and he went hard. You saw the cut that he ended up getting, and that still didn't kind of stop his momentum. Him and Jon Moxley have great chemistry in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, holy shit in the rings. You kind of, it's going to be good. Really fun match. But someone who did that? Who threw a roll of toilet paper? That's not a Japanese.
I hope that they were like banned.
Do you know? Well, I haven't got a banner or the things they use in Japan, so I'll just use this But like I said, Dynamite flew by, and like I said, I even watched Dark and Elevation as well as I AEW'd it that week. That was all in,
Yeah.
And the ratings, I'm not alone. Dynamite netted a 1.3 million viewers rating. That mean? Well, it's a huge increase of the previous, and it ranked number 1 in the key demo rating cable as well. And it is the first time that Dynamite has ever beaten Raw in the same week for viewers demo. What were your thoughts on that? They needed to deliver.
Yeah, they did. I think that their plan worked, and I also do think that they did probably end up bringing a whole new sort of bunch of viewers that were fans of both Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. It's nice to actually see a little bit of appreciation for the show itself, to get this viewership. Whether or not that stays that way, it's still to be seen. But, big congratulations to AEW on that.
Well, we move on. September 10th, Rampage, and we get Andrade and Pac already in the ring as the show begins. Again, AEW's crazy. We get the ring announcements.
Yeah.
Happening. Jim Ross and Taz come. Like this happens, you go, oh fuck it, and Pac. I forgot about that. Like, imagine if that was on the page.
Honestly, each Dynamite and Rampage as of late have been just belting out some really great opening matches, and just you forget that we were supposed to see Pac and Andrade at. It was All Out that they were supposed to be at, wasn't it?
Yeah. I looked at how
and so
to
get this. I know, don't, because if they'd have added that as well, I don't think my heart could have taken it. I would not have slept. But yeah, just to actually get that as the opener, and still in that match, they both delivered what could have been a pay-per-view event type match. It was just incredible watching them. Both of those two wrestlers really deserve to be here in AEW to get a chance to actually show their talent, and they're finally getting a chance to do that. It was such a great match.
But like I said, Pac is incredible, and I've no idea why he's not further ahead. Obviously, with COVID, to travel, but don't forget he's one of the few men to beat Kenny Omega as well, and they still bring that up.
They should actually bring that up again real soon.
Do you not say like that's how good Pac is, and Andrade scores?
I really would be very happy to see that at the next pay-per-view.
Well, Andrade's still feeling his groove, but he's got a little one-stop subtitle and be great. But onto the match, the corkscrew and foot stomp were great. We see Fight TV, because I watch it on Fight TV, they cut the ads out. So when I see 44 minutes, I panicked, and then I realised, oh good, I don't have to do nothing. But some of the exchanges were well classed in this one. Pac locked Andrade in the brutalizer, and Chavo ran in while Jose free. Nailing a bastard in the head with an iPad. Andrade then pinned Pac for the win. And after the match was over, Andrade decided he didn't, and he knocked Chavo on him to be brutalized by Pac. What were your thoughts on this match? Because this was pay-per-view worthy.
It really was. It was such a great match. I could see these two wrestle again. So anytime soon, if they want to have a rematch. And it looks like we could potentially get it, especially because it doesn't seem to me that Andrade was happy with his win. I mean, to be honest, after you hear kind of his promo and talking about, that he didn't ask for help and things like that, you can understand why he probably just lost his shit and was like, I'll just leave you for Pac because you deserve it. But it's quite nice to see because he's still a heel, but he's also a heel with pride. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm intrigued to see where things go from here because I kind of thought Andrade and Chavo would be, sort of partnered together for quite a long time. So I wonder where things are going to go between them now and whether or not they're parting ways already.
Well, the thing is, I think Chavo went off to film and help people out like a stunt coordinator, so this is kind of a way to write him off. He'll probably come back with cup in hand, apologise to Andrade. This is a very WWE ending. There's not many AEW matches that I can see one.
Yeah.
An iPad to the head,
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But moving on, we get Sting and Darby Allin in the ring with Schiavone to address recent shit. Here's Allin called generic piece of shit who is nothing without Tully. Sting makes a reference to Tully riding the coattails of Ric Flair for you right now. Blanchard appears on a ramp when Mike and kills enough time, talking for an attack Darby. Is off while Tully of their minor ruse. I like this. Tully come across as smart, which again, like you talk about heels.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think it just goes to show his experience as well, which is something that I can appreciate, especially when it is coming from a veteran within the ring. Yeah, I don't know where things are going to be going really for Shawn Spears though at this.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. He's in limbo. There's a few wrestlers we're going to talk about are kind of in that position at the moment. But we're going to get quick pre-tape thoughts from Adam Cole. We trust Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks with his life. He respects Brian, but Cole isn't even in his prime yet. Keep up with him, and Daniels with similar pre-tape comments. The way the Elite dresses and that shows him Omega. Brian loves it. So hungry to be the best too. And then we see Rio, Chris Statlander, Ruby Soho with Victorious in trios action. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter and Rebel. Rebel sacrificed her body for Baker, taking a super double stomp from Rio. Soho finished Rebel off for the pin.
I think this was just quite a fun women's tag match. You know, I didn't think that there was any need to like kind of outshine one person. I felt like everyone was just kind of giving it their all, but also just having fun with it. It was a good match. And, you know, I really love seeing Rio back. I think she's a great wrestler, and seeing her team up with both Ruby and Chris is a bit of a feel-good thing to see. So, yeah, it was really nice. It was fun.
We'll be seeing Mark Henry interviewing Brian Pillman and Max Case for the match. Case, of course, Pillman a bell eject. And Case wraps it on Fat in Cincinnati and Pete Rose, as you do. As Anthony Bowens cuts him on thin ice. Hometown hero Brian Pillman defeated Max Caster. Pillman was able to withstand interference of Bowens. He won the match using Air Pillman, his dad's springboard clothesline. Bowens attacked Pillman after the match was over and a double team beatdown was on. But John Moxley ran out and some fans, and the babyface celebrated with the fans as Rampage goes off the air. Wasn't a bad ending, and again, another hometown hero getting the cheers he deserves.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it was extra nice because you know that both John Moxley and Brian Pillman Jr. are from the same town. So it's nice to see sort of, like you said, a hometown hero, but and another hometown hero saving one another, you know, rather than it being like, oh yeah, let's pit you both against each other. It was nice to see, nice to end the show on.
Without a doubt, we'll move on to Dynamite September 15th. The intro video, CM Punk makes his entrance on the commentary team for tonight. Imagine catching CM Punk during the stage dive, like, wouldn't that be incredible?
Definitely. I mean, it always terrifies me because I worry, oh, what if one of the fans doesn't let go of him when I'm watching it? But then if I was there, I would totally be just kind of there, arms open, just waiting. I'll be like, I'll catch you. I got this.
Yeah, I got you. That's what I've been saying to him. I'll be like, come on, we got it.
Yeah.
we can both catch it. Bring him on the podcast. Anyway,
what we'll do is when they come to the UK, we'll get CM Punk to actually just dive onto us, and we'll slip one of your podcast cards into his like jacket pocket or something, and I'll just whisper in his ear, "Call me."
Hey, we've done this. That's how you get. If people don't know how to get wrestlers on podcasts, that's the way around. We do it. Adam Cole versus the stop off. To start off, and Cole controlled the majority, but Kazarian fought back and Cole cut him off at every turn. Eventually put away with a Panama shot for the win. What were your thoughts on Adam Cole's debut?
I loved this match. I thought it was really good. I think people sometimes forget how good Frankie Kazarian is at wrestling. I mean, you know, he was one of the members that became the first tag team champions in AEW, and he just proved that he can even have a singles run because his match against Adam Cole was great. You can't fault it, and there were just kind of moments in there that made you go, whoa. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Another great opening for AEW. Yeah,
without doubt. Like I said, they start the show really strong, and Kaz, of course, is an AEW original, but Cole is AEW's future. You can see it here. He gets on the mic and he says he's a dangerous man, and with the Elite, and he challenges Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy to a trios match on Rampage. Super back, and what a tag match that will be. We're going to get a package promo for Lucha Brothers Blade as we go to a break. And then we get Sammy Guevara and Soul interviewed. And Fuego said he'd trade his shiny new car in for another championship. When Sonny prompts him, he challenges Miro to a rematch on Rampage this Friday. I would trade my car. But then again, anyway, just random thoughts. We get MJF and Wardlow make their entrance. In typical fashion, the heel run down the state of New Jersey to the late, great Brian Pillman, of course. This brought out his Grand Slam opponent, who outsmarted Wolf, scuffling chair, and then a pre-taped interview with Ross and asking at Arthur. Like I said, I find them very one note. The one thing I did like about this is the crowd had MJF on the ropes with "Shut the fuck up." He wasn't sure how to that.
Yeah.
Which was
Well,
good.
it's quite funny.
Well, yeah, exactly. What were your thoughts on this? With the first time uncomfortable?
Yeah, it definitely showed that he kind of not lost his cool a bit, but just kind of was a little bit stumped on how to handle this situation. I've got to say that was probably the best promo that I've seen come from Brian Pillman Jr. He was very believable. You could see he was very driven, and I genuinely wanted him to kick MJF's ass.
Well, the thing is, if you can't defend your father and show a bit of passion about it, then this ain't for you. You know, like I said, it's basic what they're doing in there, but they had Pillman style as well. And then we see Jurassic Express and Christian interviewed. Jungle Boy said he is better friends and hair than Adam Cole. Again, I don't want to get into an argument here, but Christian cuts them off as Adam does have pretty good friends. Friends who threw him a lifeline, dragged his sorry ass out of development. So when he used to lose in Wednesday Wars, he might as well throw Fridays in there too. Where did that come from, Christian?
Oh, hell, King Christian. Seriously, he went hard at Adam Cole. He went there 100%, and I was loving every single second of it. That literally made me laugh so hard.
Christian may be the most underrated promo of all time because he can deliver a great
really
promo. I think it gets forgotten.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that.
We'll move on to action next, and Dante Martin and Matt Sydal versus FTR, and we see the Hills, their quick tags, and cutting off the ring. But we see the high-flying underdogs battle back, take the air to spark their comeback. Martin, like we said, a star every time he takes the square. So rolled labour for the big ring he get for that as FTR won. I like this because there might be no entrances, there might be makeshift teams there, but FTR look back to the best. And Dante, I cannot believe the guy's only 20. It makes me...
Yeah, like with how much talent this kid has got already, like he really is, again, one of AEW's future. He's got such extraordinary talent already. I'm kind of itching for his brother to return now so I could see them kind of flourish in the tag team division as well. But I mean, honestly, Dante could have a serious singles run, and he'd probably get over really well with everyone.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. And I think the problem, like we said, with a lot of tag teams that are injured in this past year, there's a lot of teams that are kind of, mix and match. And then commentary brings up the Suzuki incident, of course, that we had. CM Punk talks about how seriously they take it and what a pro wrestling. Mixed martial arts.
This took me a while to figure out what was the incident. I was sat there so clueless, like, did I miss something?
It was one of those things I was like, well, oh, right, okay, it's about Suzuki. But again, it's not taking itself too seriously, but I still quite like it. And, of course, this goes into a video package for Suzuki and Lance Archer about John Mox. And, of course, they are Suzuki Goon. Then we see Malachi Black Manson gets on a mic. He said there's an enemy amongst us, and the camera highlights Rosario Dawson to the front row. Right, now, before we start, Rosario Dawson, I'm a huge fan of her. I love doing a lot of stuff, of course, we last year, but even, Jay and Silent Bob and other stuff like this. But I'm going to get onto this segment now because she's wearing a Nightmare Family jacket. Cody Rhodes returns through the crowd, and Dawson hops the rails and tries to choke Blackout. Yes, one of the most kind of over and scary heels. And Dawson's like, I don't. He shrugs her off, and they brawl up the crowd. They're fighting on the stairs and throwing a to go to a break. People wonder why Cody came through the crowd. Well, it costs about $500,000 every entrance he makes, so they've got to save it, haven't they? What were your thoughts on this? Again, very WWE.
Yeah, this was like quite a WWE segment. First of all, I was really questioning. I was like, how random? Why is she there? And why is she wearing a Rose t-shirt? Then I kind of remembered, oh yes, wait, she's part of the Go is it Go Big Show?
I think it's the Go Big Show, yeah.
Is that what? Yeah. And so then obviously it made sense. It was, that this setting up Cody's return. I actually really surprisingly liked seeing Rosario Dawson jump on the back of Malachi Black, just because I'm a little feisty fighter myself. So I could always imagine myself just probably doing exactly the same thing. But do I think that Cody needed to do this in order to kind of like stage his return? No, I don't. I feel like it could have been done a different way that's just not making him look like the ultimate hero because he's attacking like Rosario Dawson. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think...
if he was going to come in for the save for anyone, it could have been any of the many Nightmare Family faction that was beaten up by Malachi Black before.
But the thing is as well is like Cody was one of the most over faces going in, and the Malachi Black, and I think Black's at fault as well, because when you're that cool, yes, you can kind of be helped. There's no point because the reaction you're getting into none anyway. So they find themselves in a really interesting crossroads.
I definitely agree with this. It's do you know what? It's very strange reading about sort of like this whole divide at the moment about it on Twitter, because you've got, like you said, on one hand you've got Malachi Black, who's doing an excellent job as a heel. However, everyone just can't get over him. So then it's not going as well as possible. However, I don't know if this is all if all of these boos are necessarily stemming from Cody's feud with Malachi Black. I do believe that there's a lot of people that aren't really happy with him going into this sort of reality TV show with Road to the Top and things like that. And I know that everyone's got their own opinions on it. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. All I'm going to say is, can we just stop giving hate where success has been found? If we talk years ago, does everyone remember the character Stardust? And how much Cody was mistreated there. And people were kind of, fed up for him. And he's left. He's created his own company. Yes, he's probably put himself on top, but he's not given himself a title. I just think, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And there are some things that turn me off about Cody and his character as well. Like I said, I wasn't really a huge fan of the Rosario Dawson segment and things like that. But I do think that people are being a little harsh because, they're complaining about him being on another, doing this Go Big show. Now he's got a reality show. Why should he not capitalize on the success that he's built? I think sometimes people don't actually realize when they're just hating on jealousy, and it doesn't need to always be that way. So I think that, yes, sometimes boos are justified when it comes towards him, but I think people are being a bit harsh on him, right?
Again, an excellent point. And if people spent more time trying to build themselves up than putting others around them down, the world would be a complete place. And unfortunately, not. And like you said, it'd be nice if we get along. And again, that's a different thing. It's a toxic Twitter. It's everywhere else as well. And like you said with Cody, yes, it's Cody's fault. I mean, look at as in Cody's fault. He's given him Chris Jericho. There's ways around it. And like we said, a year ago was getting fantastic. So like it's effect. And sometimes it's like the job. Sometimes again, I'm compared with John Cena. If everybody else is, it's going to be they are again. I'm not saying wrestling fashion, but in a way, some of them are.
Sometimes it's very debatable. Like we're just saying, it's debatable on some people, not everyone, not us who are listening.
They are. This is why we do the podcast. We do it for people who
do understand. It for you. Yeah.
Come back. We. Anyway, I'll get home loans there. But anyway, we'll move on. Like we said, we get video package for Bunny and Anna Jay, and the Dark Horse. They're arguing all the time. Anna Jay tells them to shut up. Says if we're going to be like this before. And then we get Dan Lambert, American Top Team, in the middle of the year in a ring, and he cuts another scathing promo. Jericho, Jake Hager fired back to us in a challenge to fight Scorpion Sky and Ethan Page. Lambert views saying the fight needs to be held off in all city. Like Jericho vowed that he and Hager would kick ass at Dynamite. I'm going to hold judgment on this match, but I thought it was quite funny. Jericho having a go at Dan Lambert for having big muscly man standing behind him as a big muscly man stood behind Chris Jericho.
No, but do you know what? I was actually happy to see Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. I haven't seen them in a while, so it was nice to just kind of see them in this segment, kind of come out from nowhere, because I don't know where either of them had been. But yeah, you are totally right about that. It's like, yeah, well, my guy's bigger than yours.
I just thought it was, but we'll move on. We see the Gun Club get a promo where they point out they're under defense. That's why they all then. Then your standard women's match, Jade Cargill versus Layla Hirsch. I say standard match on Dynamite. This wasn't standard, even with the matching up of it. We see a Spirit come back by Hirsch, but we see Jade unbeaten as and also looked like top stars as well. The size difference wasn't. But again,
it really was.
I want to ask you a question. I don't know if I'm being out of. I have said it before with certain male wrestlers, and I'm going to say it with Jade Cargill. Maybe she needs to change the outfit a little bit, you know?
I mean, yeah, I do think maybe she may want to rethink the top, especially after sort of the minor step up we got, during the women's battle royal. You just kind of don't want another step up like that again. But either way, she's in great shape.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If I look like that, that's what I'd be wearing, It's not about, I don't want to, the thing is that if you're kind of a monster ass and something does happen and that becomes the attention, and that's what that's my worst fear with women's wrestling. Women's wrestling, watching women's wrestling, hearing want puppy or something like that back in, whole body turn cold.
Yeah.
So much.
Exactly.
And again, I was going to be a guy going, hey, outfit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Maybe she'll forever. It will the outfit will forever evolve. Usually that tends to happen within women's gear anyway. They do tend to change it up a lot more than the men do, don't they?
Yeah, I think without a doubt. Well, we see Taz and Son Hook confront CM Punk at the competition deploy as Hobbs attack the best in the world, leading to a 3-1 assault. They even saw Hook apply Dragon Sleeper, and he held Punk into it, did not break. A heap head into the break. Hobbs putting Punk down. This is a bit of a surprise.
I mean, I was kind of happy to see it. I was like, oh, great. We are definitely setting up to have these two face off. And I would love nothing more than to see these two face off. That looked painful. I really hope that Punk was okay after the table didn't break. So I think that comes across more painful than actually going through the table itself. Yeah. So, yeah, really hope that Punk was okay.
Let's say that, Chiz. But why does it seem every time it does it, you go, oh, exactly. With breaking, you think it'd be worse, but you go, oh my God, that must.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with the crashing through the table, there is that sort of leeway where it gets a break, so it doesn't completely hurt you as much as it would when a table doesn't break on you. So yeah, that looked very painful for Punk.
Well, we see Darby Allin versus Shawn Spears next, and then the Vice charging still steps, left Spears nursing a knee injury. He recovered and resumes attack on Allin until falling prey to a tope through the bottom ropes. Spears off the ring steps, and Allin added the coffin drop later on for the pinfall victory. And after the match, FTR joined Spears and Tully in a beatdown of babyfaces that included with Tully wiping the face paint from Sting's face. What were your thoughts? I thought this was quite a good segment.
This was a good segment. This had my blood boiling, and that is exactly what, they were trying to cause in this section by doing something as disrespectful, like taking off Sting's makeup. I mean, you got to have a lot of restraint being a fan and not just wanting to jump in the ring and just come to Sting's aid when you know that this is all kayfabe as well. But yeah, it was pretty upsetting to see them taking the paint off of not only Darby Allin but Sting. It also just goes to show how good a heels FTR really are.
I think without a doubt, it's a shame Spears. There's no doubt about that now. We see Bryan Danielson in the ring first. Immediately, the champ became immersed in him, except to look to prove he's the best wrestler in the world. Like I said, I can't wait soon. And having the American Dragon back will be... I'm trying to work out, is it something wearing the white? Because since Danielson showed up, him and Omega, whenever they come face to face, have both been wearing white shirts. Or have you put me down this path because of the CM Punk t-shirts?
I'm just trying to think that far back, actually. Was Kenny Omega wearing a t-shirt a white t-shirt in that section?
He's wearing white t-shirt in that one. He wore white shirt on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I remember him in the white shirt. Yeah. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to kind of keep an eye out and see whether or not this is actually a trend, because we also know, like I said on the previously about Kenny Omega and his t-shirts. He's always wearing t-shirts with significance or hidden meanings. Those being like, when he wore the Cookie Monster t-shirt, and that was definitely with indication towards CM Punk's arrival. He also wore like an American Dragon t-shirt not too long before Bryan Danielson turned up. So you never know whether or not this could be like a nice little node or Easter egg to something potentially happening. I'm not sure though. I've never noticed it.
Again, I might be completely wrong. People go, but if there's something that comes, unbelievable. We see Miro calling Fego to sell out for putting him on a blade. Bard spared him, and he's gonna bash his brain and bash his car and leave his family grateful. Matt Hardy cuts a promo about how sick and tired of Orange Cassidy his head, and then we find out, of course, coming out CM Punk versus Will Hobbs. And our main event today was 2.0. Of course, Jeff Parker and Matt Lee versus Eddie Kingston and John. We see, of course, a brawl. Any match with Moxley and Kingston is going to start with a brawl to begin with, and maybe continue. And
again, I say this all the time, but they both come out looking so unhinged. Like, you were genuinely the one that's pissed them off before they got into the ring to kick your ass, and they're just taking it all out on you.
So back down, and we see the faces going over, and after the match, Suzuki appeared, and Archer, a brawl broke out, with it could be gaining up hand just in time. Like I said, a fun event there. We're going to go straight into Rampage. Excalibur, Chris Jericho, Taz, and Ricky Starks on the show, with the Butcher and Blade make their entrance for a tag team title match against the Lucha. And towards the end of the match, the Blade tied Penta to the middle rope using his mask. Ray Phoenix was left vulnerable, 2-on-1 beatdown. Penta sacrificed his mask and super kicked the heels, obviously, to save Phoenix from the finisher, which led to a roll-up victory for Bros. What were your thoughts on this tag team title match to start Rampage?
Again, brilliant choice for an opening match. It was exciting. It was fun. It was creative. Another creative way to sort of like come to the finish. I really just love Penta's sacrifice when it comes to his brother. We saw it all at the All Out match, and how he was, telling Matt to like not hit him, Ray Phoenix, with the nailed trainer, let's call it, and took the hit himself. He's always sacrificing himself, and that's what you do as an older sibling. But it can be so well appreciated by all other older siblings around there. And just by even doing that small little sacrifice of taking the mask off and hitting a boot to the face to save your brother is such a commendable thing. I just love everything that the Lucha Brothers do.
Yeah, and again, not to pick you up, but like I said, the small thing, it's a massive thing to sacrifice your mask with Mexican heritage and everything like that for your brother. And like I said, it's something that we can relate to as well, which adds extra emotion. And of course, I like looking around, and I see the AEW back on the canvases as well with a little Rampage. I quite like. We see Private Party hitting the ring after the match ended for an attack on the champs. They tried to remove the mask for Ray Phoenix, but in the circle, Santana save will be tape air consistent of a Omega on title match. And then we get Anna Jay versus the Bunny. Jay didn't waste any time suplexing the Bunny outside the ring for the belt even rang to start the fight. Ford tried to get involved, but she was neutralized by Conti. Jay rolled the Bunny out from behind and Mr. Chaos for the pin. What did you think of this?
I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's, overtelling a story, but I really do like that the continuity of, this originally stemming from Anna Jay and the Bunny sort of hatred of one another. So it's just really nice to see Anna Jay back in action. It's nice to start seeing some women tag matches again as well. I'm just intrigued to kind of see where things keep going for the women within the tag division. Hopefully some nice belts come soon.
Well, like I said, it'd be interesting to see either tag division or if the rumours. I think the women's division needs to it and a lot more matches be involved, and if it means another title, me on a Dynamite, then I'm all for it as well, And what I'm not all for is
definitely they've got a plethora of very experienced women on the roster. They also have a lot of fresh young girls that are, up for the experience. So, give them another title, give them more motivation to work towards,
Yeah, I think without a doubt, like I said, one thing I'm not a fan of, Lowe's Penelope Ford introducing brass knuckles into the mix and having a heel stand tall as well. We see Matt in the ring with Tony Schiavone. He's a fan dressed like Orange Cassidy. Hardy attacks the fan and drags him in the ring. And Jack Evans assists Hardy with cutting off the fan's ponytail. They bring clippers and start shaving the head. And Orange Cassidy just calmly walks out for the save and the heels leave the ring.
For the save? Really? They save him?
Well, no. To be fair, you are
still
right.
Cut his hair off.
They did. Yeah, they did.
I was kind of presuming that he'd just casually take his time coming out, but I kind of also thought that maybe like someone like Wheeler Yuta or Chuck Taylor would have like been the one come running to the ring to actually save the poor dude. But no, Orange Cassidy didn't get there in time.
You are right with that. Well, up next, good stuff. Britt Baker and Ruby Soho in the ring with Tony Schiavone come to face to face. Baker says Soho changed her name all the time, know who she is, and is desperate to fit in, whereas everyone knows who Britt Baker. Soho says Baker is wrong. Ruby knows exactly who the hell she is. She's just never had a freedom to prove it until now. Soho refers to Baker banging some dude in the back, which gets a big reaction from the audience. Baker says Soho is incorrect to call herself the runaway because she didn't run away. Fired. Soho says Baker's
Burn.
Soho says Baker's headed so far up Tony Khan's arse she's going to take the AEW next week. And Baker attacks Ruby. Baker bows from the ring, leaving Ruby to grab the gold and raise it high. We talked about them sparring, so to speak. They gave some heavy shots.
They really did. They went hard here, and I just, again, loved every minute of it. It was just absolute gold. It's the type of a sort of like roasting that is the good type of roasting, like you could tell that both of them naturally are having fun with this as well. And it's just so lovely to see Ruby Soho in a ring and actually being able to express herself. So I have to agree with her when she said that getting fired was probably the best thing that could have happened to her, because then she was landed with an opportunity such as this.
Oh, like I said, she's hit the ground running as well, and hitting the ground running is what Fuego del Sol might have to. He loses his car in the car versus title main event that we've got up now. Yeah, well, Mark Henry interviews both before the match, and into it, unfortunately, her out. It just wasn't. Miro was getting as much off. He brutally finished him off with 2 kicks to retain the TNT title and win a car. Afterwards, Miro shoved the car keys in Fuego's mouth and locked in the game over. Sammy Guevara came out and saved his best friend damage. Miro left the ring, leading Guevara to stand tall and holding up Miro's title. Oh, have we seen that this show? Anyway, don't worry about that. It's clear Guevara wants to be next. What were your thoughts on?
I mean, I really wanted to cheer for Fuego, but we kind of all knew this was going to happen, and I just more felt sorry for the fact that he lost his car. So yeah, I hope you're doing well, Fuego. That was quite a brutal match to watch for him. Intrigued to see what was going to become of this Sammy versus Miro thing, because I didn't think that Sammy was going to be getting himself as involved as he had been. But, obviously with Fuego still sort of being attached to this, I think it ultimately led to, there being a challenge between Sammy and Miro.
And it'll be nice to see Sammy wrestling his third match of the year. Anyway, final thoughts on Rampage. Ricky Starks on commentary, to me, didn't show much, but job there. We had some.
I really like Ricky Stark on commentary. I think he's quite funny.
The first week, the second, like I said, he's got a little bit better. But that one, I didn't even know he was there.
I definitely do watch him. He's kind of like comes on commentary for Dark and Elevation too, if not Eddie Kingston. And I really enjoyed both of them on commentary. Eddie more so because he's just hilarious always shouting about how much he loves Lulu. Ricky Starks, he's got like some sort of like charming voice. So when you do hear him talk, it's just quite hilarious to listen to, because it's all very narcissistic, me. And that's kind of his character.
We Graves, Anyway, we'll move on.
That is very true.
And Owen Hart, because AEW and the Owen Hart found the creation of an Owen Hart Cup tournament, and also Owen Hart merchandise like actions, posts, and other conclusion in the upcoming AEW game. And the tournament they'll create will be a cup that be Owen. This the heart, it just warms the heart. I remember watching On the Edge 1999 live as quite a young kid, and being shocked by it. And it's like we said, over 20, and finally he's going to get the recognition I think obviously he deserves.
He really does. But I mean, what a huge slap in the face for WWE. Do you know what I mean? To be seeing this sort of be advertised on their rival company. But it's also well deserved for the Hart family. They deserve to allow Owen Hart to be appreciated in a wrestling capacity. But I also wholeheartedly understand why they did not want his name being anywhere near WWE. So I'm really pleased to see that there is some form of appreciation for Owen Hart going into this, and he's not forgotten.
Yeah, I think without that, it's a lovely that we're seeing as well, and I cannot wait to play as Owen Hart versus W game next year. It's one of the games I'm looking for.
If they're doing a multiplayer, we might have to think about streaming it. WNR versus WNR.
Well, this is an annoying thing. Before the pandemic, we were trying to do like the history of wrestling video games. We brought out Here Comes the Pain and No Mercy, and we started playing, and we're going to start doing it. And of course, the guy that kind of connects everything where I am, we couldn't come around because of COVID. So it's like we will get back to computer games.
Get back on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, that would be an excellent thing. I've talked about like a Royal Rumble match involved live commentary.
That would be amazing.
Anyway, talk about
you might not want live commentary when it comes to gaming. I must admit, I haven't got any filter when it comes to that. I can't control what comes out of my mouth, so I'd apologise now.
No, again, it doesn't matter. Like I said, anything in the heat of battle is absolutely fine. We'll make our apologies after. We'll talk about the huge show, the biggest show in AEW history, September 22nd. Of course, it is AEW Grandstand, Arthur Ashe Arena. You see the intro video. What were your thoughts? When you kind of...
Oh my gosh, I honestly thought that it was another pay-per-view night. I was like, I'm finding this hard to believe that even just from the opening, that is just a Rampage episode, and it's not a pay-per-view. Like it honestly felt... The opening felt like it was a pay-per-view.
I think not since Nitro, as another American company like this, it was so impressive. Again, I think might have made it a little bit smaller. And I know they want to do the Dynamite set with it, but if maybe they do something more custom, huge entrance, still there's work to the production. That's what we're going to see when they move to bigger arenas anyway. But like I said, we started off with American Dragon Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. And the bell rang and the crowd exploded with cheers. There's not many matches that happens with.
I mean, like, again, can we just point out the obvious of a yet again stellar opening match?
Well, since you noticed it, they really are. Again, that you could argue the main event, but they're starting with such a punch that kind of you ride the momentum through it, if you know what I mean. Like I said, with this match starting, you're going, oh my God. We see Danielson's huge smile across. They had a stare down. They locked up. And like I said, it was a few highlights. The Snapdragon on the ramp looked sick. And the running V-trigger as well as Omega as fast as he could. Of course, the fight, forever chants echoed in the arena as well. We see Danielson counter suplex attempt to hit his own back suplex. They went back and forth with strikes and near falls as the crowd began to applaud. Omega hit a dragon suplex from the top rope but couldn't get the pin. It's crazy. And I don't know about you, but is it because WWE have talked about Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson that when you make a move, you think, how long is that going to last? You know, as in our feeling that?
Yeah.
Because that's what he wants to shed,
doesn't
it?
It definitely. And I think there were one or two moves where I really was just kind of like, oh my gosh, is he okay? But then I also could just see how much fun Bryan Danielson is having in the ring again. And it is so nice to see that. It's nice to see that fire, that spark just sort of be reignited back in him again.
It's unbelievable, you know. We see him avoid a Phoenix Splash and hit a few of kicks. He stopped Omega's face several times. Again, a move I absolutely love. Looks devastating. Rolling into the LeBell lock. Omega used the ropes to escape. They exchanged big strikes until the bell sounded to indicate a time limit draw. Adam Cole and Young Bucks came down and hit a triple super kick to Danielson in Jurassic Express. I mean, like I said, what a way to start. What were your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even mad at the way that it ended, because it just goes to show how amazing that match was. I didn't want it to end. I wanted it to keep going because of how good both of them were at countering each other's moves, at getting back up even when, you know, they've been hit pretty hard. It was such a great opening. I really didn't mind that it was a count out, because it just leaves it open for another match that could potentially be tied down.
Yeah, the thing is, with DQ finishes and stuff like that, it wouldn't have worked out. So I think to do this, and like I said, that's why the time limit's there for as well. I think it's the closest.
So yeah, this is the one feature that I enjoy from AEW, that each match has like a time limit on it. And sometimes they don't ever reach that time limit. But do you know what? It comes across more professionally. It feels more like it's not taken away from WWE that they don't do an announced time slots, but it shows appreciation for each match that is getting a match, you know. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think it two of the best, and the reason why, you know, I think it's the closest we're going to come to Flair Steamboat. Because the thing is, these guys have barely met, and to be able to produce a match like that first time, if anything, it's you know, it's to say, you know, we've had Daniel Bryan or whatever. You know, people say we haven't got the best wrestlers, but we did. Unfortunately, he's gone to AEW now, but it shows that, you know, he's still as good as he ever has been. Is it simple to say this is the best start to a Dynamite?
It was Rampage, wasn't it?
No, it's Dynamite. Danielson and
it was Dynamite. Okay, yes, then yes.
well, like I said, it's so much action because we had a 2-hour page as well, and we see CM Punk came out after the break to deliver a promo. He said he was happy he didn't have to wrestle on the show because no one could follow that. And he spoke about how he should be angry due to the attack he suffered last week, but the crowd's reaction put a smile on his face. He says people like Team Taz don't want to see him having fun and enjoying the fans again. He promised Hobbs to sleep on Friday. I mean, this was just not filler, because CM Punk is never filler, but if anybody was going to get reaction after...
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I appreciate the fact that we might not see him wrestle on every single promotion, you know, but the fact that he's either on commentary or he comes to actually address the audience, this is when you can appreciate a wrestler, especially on someone of CM Punk's status. He could easily, you know, do a 1 day a week if he wanted to, you know, but he knows the fans are itching to see him, and he actually delivers on that. So even just getting a promo by him can leave so many fans lit in the audience. They're ready for the next match, you know?
And it was nice to see Stephen Amell in the audience as well, because...
Yeah, it was.
If anybody hasn't seen Hills, is a series that's available, I think Stars UK, it is built for us. I mean, for a wrestling fan, if anybody's a fan of Arrow as well, go and check it out. It really, really is good. And of course, CM Punk shows up in it, and not the only familiar faces. Yeah. But after the break, we get...
And Stephen Amell is starring in it, so...
Oh, yeah.
He's quite good in
it. And I don't know who the brother is, but my God.
Yeah, I know, definitely.
I don't want to be that guy. But...
I'm glad but you said it first, but I was definitely thinking it, so don't worry.
Hey, I can appreciate, you know, I mean...
Yeah.
Anyway,
you have to appreciate when someone's done well with their body. Okay, that's what wrestlers are like.
Anyway, we get MJF and Pillman entrances for their match. After the break, we see MJF keeping Pillman on the defense. We see Brian managing to hit snap power slam for a quick 2 count, but MJF used Julia Humming shield to regain the upper hand. She pie faced him and he grabbed her by the arm. Pillman hit a drop kick through the ropes to take him down, but MJF countered assaulted a win. What were your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think it was an okay match. It wasn't, you know, all that, but it was good for a Dynamite show. So yeah, I didn't really have that many thoughts on it, if I'm truly honest. It's not that I have an opinion on either wrestler, but neither of them are sort of like, my favorites. So this feud for me just didn't really do much.
But Pillman looked like an idiot because he come up short after getting the whole family insulted for the past. And until MJF actually wins the championship, what he's going to do? He'll come out, say something, controversial, reaction, be B or C level face, and until it does, because he's got nothing to brag about, and the Wardlow turn will come happen. Yeah. Like you said, it's at the moment, it's one of those where I love Dynamite, but when MJF comes, I'm like, okay.
I don't really, I'm not, like, thing is, I really think that he is probably going to be one of the best heels to come out of wrestling history. But I don't really feel like there's anywhere for him in any storylines for AEW at the moment. So I kind of feel like right now he's even kind of like similar to Sean Spears. Just what did you call Sean Spears earlier?
Oh God, I can't remember now. Yeah, like you said,
stuck in limbo.
Limbo. Like, there we go. Like I said, just floating around, just going.
Not really sure what to do with MJF. Like he should win something at some point, but right, got two heels as like, well, actually no, we did, but now we've only got one. But we did have two heels as TNT champion and AEW champion, so we don't necessarily need him to take the belt at this point. So he's quite stagnant in where he can go at this point when it comes to storylines and progression.
I completely agree with you. Like I said, AEW have got a slight problem, and hopefully we'll touch on it. With that amount they've got to try and keep everybody happy as well.
I feel like they need to introduce even another belt for the men, not just the female, just because, right now it's...
the rate they're going, they're going to introduce a couple of new shows.
Yeah, but if they're going to do that, then we definitely need new titles to be putting on those shows,
Yeah, not Dark Rampage or something.
I mean, like, I am thinking there, because if we've got, is it Dynamite on TNT, and now we've got Rampage, and what is Rampage on?
I think that's TNT, but moving to...
That's it. So I wonder whether or not we're going to get, because of their changing channel, I wonder whether or not we'll get another sponsored channels, like, title. And even that in itself could just kind of help, like, break up this very dominant division right now, because we have so many strong wrestlers who could be like pushed into a title picture, but there's just not enough titles at this point.
I'm just glad, like I said, they're doing it in America, because if it was like a sponsored NXT UK, it would be like the challenge title. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad. The pick title. Trying to think of the Channel 5 Championship.
My God. I was actually just thinking about the BBC Championship.
Exactly.
ITV's champion.
ITV. The champ.
Oh God. Okay.
Let's not give them that
let's
idea.
Not go there. No, we might end up going down the route with like CBB's title and.
Well, BT Sport 3 champion, hasn't got the same rings as maybe others. But we go back and we see Jericho and Hager interview backstage. And this is why I like, because not only did the boys of the week, they said they're about to be follow a fat face. Always good to hear. And Jericho said he's going to bite his nose off like Haku in Japan and spin it into the crowd. Up next, Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black. As Rhodes made his entrance, he was joined by Arn Anderson and returning Brandy Rhodes, and he got a mixed reaction from the crowd in New York. Rhodes hit the Cody cut, followed by crossroads for a close to hit the ref. Spit sank in his face. He rolled Rhodes up for the pin and the win.
I think everyone has obviously heard my thoughts and my views on sort of the booing of Cody and things. I, first and foremost, was absolutely over the moon to see Brandy back, looking really good, and coming out and supporting her husband. I don't mind that at all. I actually like that she came out, showed herself. I don't understand the boos. However, I also am kind of ready for Malachi Black to move on from Cody. I didn't necessarily need to see like a round 2 just yet between them. Thought maybe it would even take a bit longer before Cody returned. So I like the match was good, and I think it ended in the right way with Malachi sort of winning, even if it wasn't a sort of cheating tactic. I kind of liked the sort of blackness in the face. It kind of reminded me of Tajiri from back in the day, and he was always one of my favorite wrestlers. So I just felt like that was like a nice little homage to him, just kind of like what Oscar does.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, like I said, it was a fun match, and Black winning was the right. And as for Cody, we talked about it before. Black is cool. Do you think there's a chance we might see a double turn coming up with a 2, or do you think Aleister Black, because of kind of how dark and demonic do you think he'll just kill?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a possibility. I think that they could go down that route. I'm more intrigued to see kind of like how Cody's going to take things from here, because I do wonder whether or not he is just going to go straight up go ahead for that heel turn himself. I think it would probably end up helping boost his character, if I'm truly honest, especially because of he's clearly not getting a lot of love from the fans. Personally, I don't mind him. I don't think that obviously with what was kind of brought up with Brandy saying she'd like to be women's champion and things, I don't think everyone should take that as seriously as like, you know, her bringing it up. I think she's just saying she aspires to get back in the ring, train her hardest to be able to get herself in a position where she can have a run with the title. However, that being said, unless we see that progress in the ring come from her, is obviously not going to happen, or the fans won't take to it. So I think that Cody and Brandy both kind of have to be careful with the fact that they are co-owners of the company as well, to ensure that they're not just kind of cutting line, to ensure that they're not just kind of looking to feed themselves and their own careers, when right now, you know, they are also providing like a career run for other wrestlers that probably deserve title runs before them.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, they've got to be careful what they do. But, you know, just take a page out of kind of The Miz and Maurice as well, of kind of how to handle, you know, even if it's kind of, a reality show, you know, being it. You can definitely make that work, or even have Cody kind of turn his... I mean, how much of a hill would it be turning his back on his entire family, you know, especially his newborn girl? Like you said, that's...
Exactly. I think at this point they just need to be careful with the way that they promote themselves, because they got to remember that this company isn't just about them. So they need to make sure that they're not making it just about them.
And the other thing as well, just with Aleister Black quickly as well, is that it reminded me a little bit of Bray Wyatt when he was facing Cena at WrestleMania, of saying, like, I want to turn to the dark, so I want you. I know you know, I think for Black, he wants to walk on a path of destruction now. You know, like I said, leading to the AEW Championship, but unfortunately for him, like we talked about, a lot of people, you know, it's like MJF. Oh, he could be, and then they get the, you know, certain people in like Danielson or Punk. You go, well, when is MJF kind of, it's dropping down a little bit? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so.
I mean, we'll definitely pick up on this a bit more, because obviously I know that we're going to go into this discussion as well, later on into Dynamite. But the one thing that I would say about Malachi Black was that I'm actually intrigued to not see him really go for the AEW title belt yet, but maybe even the TNT title, because I was just going to say, when you look at someone like Miro, right now Miro is coming across looking very strong, very beast-like, because he is like rinsing through everyone with that title around his waist. I can easily see once you know, like a babyface has taken the title, I could definitely see Malachi Black hunting this babyface, hunting for his prey, and getting that title. And I think that would actually elevate the TNT championship a lot more, because of so many people love Malachi Black.
Yeah. That's an excellent thing, and that's why I really, well, like I say, I love doing a podcast with you as well, because you say something and it makes all the sense in the world, and I didn't think of it, you know, because you think, yes, babyface with Black, and you keep it at that level, because you obviously Brody Lee, Cody Rhodes, Miro.
Just imagine like the darkness that Malachi Black could bring to like the stalking of that championship, of the babyface that is carrying that championship. I just think it could be such epic storytelling, and we've kind of already see him sort of like have that sort of stalker effect within the Nightmare family. Now, if he kind of focuses that on the TNT Championship and the next babyface that has it, I think that it would be gold.
Yeah, I think without doubt. Well, we see a video package for Sammy Guevara versus Dynamite, and Cody is in Sammy. And then Darby Allin and Sting versus FTR. And Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler were in NWO-themed attire for the match, meaning everybody was in black and white. Allin was going to start the match, but he decided tagging Sting. The Icon was sucking it around with. Harwood attempted a tombstone pile driver, but Sting countered. He hit both men with a Stinger splash. Tyler Blanchard set up a chair in the corner, but it was Harwood who was thrown into it. Sting applied a Scorpion Deathlock for the win. I mean, this is the FTR we need. Fuck it. This is the Sting we need as well. I thought this is great.
Yeah. I mean, Sting just looks great in the ring. He really does. You wouldn't actually think like he's the age he is. And I'm just so thoroughly entertained seeing him in the ring as well. It was a great match. There's nothing to fault it.
No, without doubt, like I said, great finish. Everybody's good. Darby's a made man now. Look at the reaction he's getting. We get a video package for Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Ruby Soho in our main event. Lots of hype about what is going on with Rampage as well, but into our main event as well. And again, I've had a go at Dynamite before. Well done, Dynamite, for having the women's match as the main event. I will say that it deserved the spot most definitely as well. Anyway, that's enough of that. We'll get into the action. We see Jamie Hayter and Rebel were by Baker's side. Soho was solo for this title belt. Baker hit a swinging neck breaker and a stiff kick crash from the middle rope. Baker stomped a few steps in the middle of the ring. Soho hit a finisher on Baker, but she was distracted by Rebel and Hayter, and the champion used the opportunity to apply the lockjaw for the win. So maybe a bit of surprising outcome, lockjaw. But what were your thoughts on this main event?
I thought it was great. I really loved seeing Ruby Soho back in the ring. It was only when she got back in the ring I realised that it has been way too long since we've actually seen her in a match, one-on-one, really. I just liked that everything that both women brought. I knew there were going to be some shenanigans that came from Britt's team, and it was just it was good.
Yeah, without that, like I said, this is what they can do. And we just kind of need to see more of it, if you know what I mean. Like I said, the show overall, Dynamite, like I said, one of the best shows that we've seen, unbelievable. And we still had more because Rampage that week was 2-hour show. And we're going to go straight into the fourth. Of course, in the Arthur Ashe Stadium as well. Excalibur runs down his job. Ricky Starks. We start with CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Like I said, CM Punk's first TV match in 7 years. He's in control until Hook draws his attention and Hobbs crashes him in with a crossbody. They trade big moves in the second half of the match with Hobbs counted to a spine buster being a highlight. And then a gnarly looking hurricanrana from Punk, which led to a notable "oh shit" moment. Another attempted hooking event leads to a finish where Punk dodges his attempt to grab him and Hobbs crashes into his partner instead. Go to sleep to win. Well, what were your thoughts on CM Punk?
Again, I thought it was a great match. I think, it's one of those ones that Will Hobbs just handled working with Punk really well. I thought that there was great chemistry in the ring, and I felt overall that just sort of the overall outcome, the near misses. And when you look at someone like Will Hobbs, you think there's no way that Hobbs is going to lose to Punk. It was just amazing to kind of see Punk try to overcome this adversary, so to speak. And yeah, I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, Hobbs did okay, apart from landing on his head. We've said that before. I guess the Hurricane is a no-go now. A lot of work for Punk, who's just come back to have to carry Hobbs the way. But this was more the Punk I expected. They're called short pants as well. This is more of a Punk off of Darby Allin, but still good stuff. The Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage Express. We see the faces cruise early until Cole lures JB to the floor into a pair of super kicks from Matt and Nick. And the second half is just madness you accept from the participants. The finish comes after the Bucks throw Chris Boy off the ramp to isolate Luchasaurus. He takes Panama Sunrise, the BT Trigger, and the Boom. Like I said, new name for the last shot, running knee for the Hills to win. And in my eyes, this is what AEW do best, the multi-match.
Yeah, definitely. Have to agree with you there.
This was just great stuff overall. Then we get the men of the year, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky versus Jerry Hager. The faces and the heels in the submission holds, but Dan Lambert jumped on the apron and drew their attention. Lambert tripped up Hager, which allows Sky to roll him up. And afterwards, Jericho and Hager dragged Lambert into the ring, looked to make him pay. But American Top Team is out in the ring, and the ensuing melee, Andre Arvlosh, Dos Santos, and Hager. Page Van Sant works Jericho over the punches. And then Jorge Masvidal recreates a knee that knocked out Ben Askren on the champion. And you, apart from if you've never seen it before, you don't even know what's going on. What were your thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean, I thought again another great match, wasn't it? Really.
I think it was a good match overall, but the with the UFC guys then kind of standing over the inner circle.
I mean, the ending, the end part.
The match was okay, but the end.
Yeah, that part sucked. I didn't really, unless they're going to do an actual invasion, like UFC invasion, and actually make it something. I just don't think it worked. It just kind of, I don't know. I don't want to insult anyone from the UFC, the fighters in UFC. Neither do I want to insult the fans. However, if you're not going to go hard with it, and like when I say go hard, I mean like be invading every single match that is going on where we're getting a full-on invasion from UFC. Don't do it half-heartedly, because for me, I don't see any outcome from this. So we're just kind of there to take to forever remember. Do you remember when all those guys from UFC just like turned up randomly? Like nothing really happened, did it?
It's just the thing. It's like, do you remember that time Tyson was going to fight Jericho or whatever it is? And it's like, this is just kind of one of the. We're never going to get a UFC fighter, contracted fighter, fight Chris Jericho on an AEW show. It's just not going to happen. He might be the third man in a tag match or something like this, but even then, if you don't know who he is, like people don't, again, I might be wrong, but we don't look back at WrestleMania 11 when Lawrence Taylor was in the main event and go, oh my God, what a moment. Because like you said, it's a different sport. It's not based on that. Anyway, we'll move on. Lucha Bros beat Private Party, the Butcher and the Blade. This was a crazy ended after Superstar Press from Mark Quinn. Lucha Bros hit with Fear Factory, then PNP fit Streets to cover him. This was a fantastic. Again, what you need.
It was great. Amazing. Exactly. Tag team at its finest. You know how much I love Santana and Ortiz. I see them becoming champs at some point. Really loved it. It was just so good.
It was great stuff for them. We see a backstage spot with Matt Hardy and Jack Evans include Hardy challenger to a hair versus hair match against Evans. OC came out and Superman punched Jack on the ramp. Sammy Guevara and Fergo del Sol hit the stage for Sammy's cue card shtick. Destroys them both. Fergo gets thrown off the stage and Guevara ends up passing out. And Andrade El Idolo gets a video saying he wants another match against Pac now that he's dealt with Chavo. And he makes sure his assistant Jose does not get involved. Andrade wins this time. Pac won't have any excuses. And then Penelope Ford defeated Anna Jay. The Buddy strapped referee to throw forward the brass knuckles. Ty Conti ran to save her friend after the pin, but she also took a brass knuckle shot. The Hardy family office came out to celebrate the Orange Cassidy, soon joined by Dark Order. The faces cleared the ring. It's like Dark Order have mended faces, but Eva Uno isn't ready to hints to Grace and leave on their own. There's a lot going on in that.
There was. I feel like we were getting told sort of two stories at the same time, like kind of all meshing together as one. Again, just good storytelling when it comes to Dark Order. You know that there's some form of them that will unite when it comes to the likes of Anna Jay being in trouble. So that was really nice to see. But it was also nice to see that they're still struggling with getting that unity back. Where this is going to lead to, though, I have no idea. I want to lead it to great things. I just hope it will be great things.
Well, we see Mark Henry interview our main eventers. Lance Archer starts to advantage. Eddie Kingston's too worked up, heads it up. And then John Moxley, Suzuki and Lance Archer, lights out. We see a lot of stuff.
I don't really understand what they mean when they say lights out match, because it's not a lights out match.
It's like, this is unsanctioned, but they're still going to be in the ring and do all the kind of same stuff. You either love it.
I mean, it's kind of like the same as the Britt Baker match with Thunder Rosa, except for it wasn't called a lights out match, and they didn't dim the lights for a hot sec and then just chuck it back on again. I just don't see the point of that part.
No,
So
yeah. And the thing is, like I said, you're either going to love or hate this type of matchup. And when it's got a story to it, I don't mind it. But I just felt like kendo sticks, trash cans, you kind of all the weapons you'd think, people getting through tables. We see looks like Suzuki Gun going to win. But here comes Homicide, and his music hits. He takes the heels out and cuts Moxley through, who's been tied up. Paragon shifts for everyone. Homicide throws Eddie a trash can. He puts over Archer's head so he can light up with a kendo. And it's quite funny because the camera angle, unfortunately, you saw Archer, and he arms up to the head, protecting for his life. It's like, people wonder what it looks like in the trash can. That's what he's doing. We see Kingston pinning Murder Hawk.
That was more the cameraman's fault there, though. He should have gone at a different angle. I don't know what he was doing.
Well, without a doubt. And the show closes, obviously, with a faces win. The show closes with Moxley and Homicide hugging in the corner. Again, I don't want to shit over this, but like, kind of hit or miss. Homicide does nothing. And Archer is probably the most WWE style booked person in AEW. 1 week he's a killer, next week he's a jobber, you know?
I get what you mean there. I'm a little bit disappointed, and more so from the sense of I feel like Lance Archer should be being pushed a lot more anyway. So to even see sort of as much as I love Moxley and Eddie Kingston, but I thought it was going to be Archer and Suzuki winning this. So I didn't really know who that other guy was either, so it really wasn't like a shock factor where it was like, oh yeah, amazing, someone's friend came out to help him. So I just kind of, it was an all right match, but like I wasn't wowed by the ending.
No, like I said, it was all it said, and the ratings as well down. Obviously, maybe expected some huge numbers, but still 1.1 million range, which is not bad. And now the final Dynamite of today, September 29th. The show opens with a memorial graphic for the late great Brody Lee. Into the intro video. I will get through this if it kills me. CM Punk makes his entrance in street clothes to join the commentary desk for tonight's show. And we start off with Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Yes, Jaxie is right. Yet a banging way to start a Dynamite. Jungle Boy delivered a Hurricanrana over the top rope and off the apron. Let me say that again. A Hurricanrana off the top rope and off the apron. And then Cole responded with a super kick. We see a Panama Sunrise follow the babyface kicked out. And Cole selling that as well.
Yeah, it was
fantastic. He tried for the boom, but Jungle Boy ducked and applied the snare trap. At that point, I thought, do you know what here? But he delivered a cheap low blow and finally executed the boom for the pinfall victory. Like I said, great way to start the show. Did you love this match as much as...
Oh my gosh, it was a great match. A great one. Amazing. Again, like you said, and like I've said in every episode of Dynamite, another stellar opening match. It was amazing. I think both Jungle Boy and Adam Cole have a lot to give AEW, and I look forward to future matches between both of those wrestlers.
Well, do you know what? And again, this is why it's good sometimes that we do this, because I put Sheet Eating Grin by Cole after is always great. These two will be having great matches years to come. We will see these two guys, and we say the Elite joined Victorious Cole for a post-match promo. Cole reminded his record. Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, interrupted the promo despite both his and the fans' desire for a rematch with Omega. It appears like the world champ doesn't have the balls to go through it. Of course, this started up a Kenny chant as well, which is fun. Bryan challenged any member of the Elite to a match on Rampage, and Omega tried to goad him into a fight tonight. Danielson called on Christian, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt to back him up as he drove the heels up the ramp. But this gets more like NWA every week with the Elite now, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but I've been just enjoying it. I really love seeing sort of Adam Cole in this dynamic with like a new faction, and one that's just kind of epically working because they're all brilliant assholes together. And then you've got, the likes of the baby faces like Jungle Boy, who it really just is helping him get over, even as a baby face, as a wrestler, seeing him, going up against the likes of the Elite and being alongside legends such as Christian.
Yeah, I would agree there. We come back from commercial. Lucha Brothers are interviewed backstage. Andrade rolls up and asks where Pac is, and then A points out that it's been a while since Lucha Brothers defended their AAA tag team. And Andrade says he has many luchador friends, be able to take them away. And Lucha Brothers says he'll defend them anytime, anywhere. That was a bit weird, wasn't it? As a segment, I go...
yeah, but I really did enjoy the fact that Andrade was asking where Pac was, because I was like, oh, good, I'm not the only one asking this. Can we get Pac back now? Please.
We need Pac back. That's what we need.
Exactly. Pac back.
Pac back.
Hashtag Pac back.
Hashtag Pac back. That's what we need.
What? That's what I'm going to end up tweeting now.
Explode. Hashtag Pac back. That will go crazy. Anyway,
oh my gosh.
Dante Martin and Matt Sydal in golf. He made his Martin, as he has so many times, wow, and Buster driving his opponent into his knee. He pinned Martin seconds later. And after the match, Tony Khan, John Rhodes, Johnson and Anderson in the centre of the ring as a face with a negative reaction. Rhodes called out Malachi Black, but Anderson silenced and cut a promo that insinuated Rhodes was soft. He said there's a difference between them, and that's gets carjacked. He steps aside, but Arn pulls out a Glock and turns the table, and he's not going to coach a loser. And he leaves with Lee Johnson saying at least Lee will listen to him. What the fuck was this?
Listen, Arn Anderson went all gangster, okay? Arn Anderson let the inner gangster come out, and he talked about a Glock, and it was just, I don't know why, but that was just TV gold. I'm pretty sure that everyone was just like talking about the fact that like Arn Anderson was talking about bringing out a Glock. I didn't actually expect that coming from Arn, I must admit.
It's not what you would expect, but again, he just go, I do love Arn Anderson, you know what I mean? Like, but my God, to get
I have to say though, I have to say that I agree with everything that Arn was saying. I also just kind of want this to be used as a way of Cody just going dark.
Well, I think without a doubt, yeah, I think that would be great. That's it, turning his back on. Up next, Anthony Green and Bear Country versus Darby Allin and Moxley, and this was a very match that saw the baby faces withstand an early surge from the heels until Moxley pinned Green for the win. After the match, Sting dropped in death drop as Kingston held up a Brody Lee sign. It was quick. It was just a showcase for the faces. Again, I know this show's going long, but
for the fans.
We talk about.
I was just going to actually say, like, when we discuss like sort of short matches, when it comes to the likes of WWE, you see it, and you could just tell it's a complete squash match, and it's kind of added in for no reason. With something like this, when it even comes to it being potentially a squash match because it's against much smaller opponents, at the same time having the likes of those big names just coming in and just doing like a quick spot actually helps to like keep the audience, keep the crowd interested, keep them entertained, and it was just a fun little a piece in between, you know.
I think we're out now, and again we talked about Limbo tonight, which is not AEW's new show, but Moxley, again, is a guy who should be doing more.
Yeah.
And he's kind of, at this moment in time, just, like I said, it's fine, him teaming with Eddie Kingston, but that's John Moxley, you know?
Yeah. I mean, right now he is just coasting. And I want to say it is because, he is a new father and things like that. But I'm not entirely sure that that's true. So I'm not sure what route he's going to be taking next either. As I said, I think that another title does need to be introduced even for the men, if only just to kind of not have this ongoing limbo for multiple men.
It's hashtag limbo. All right, I know it's not good as hashtag back, but like limbo, WNR Limbo show.
There you go, we got it. That's going to be the new show.
I'm rambling. Let's get to it. So we see Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defended the title against Ruby Soho last week with a package. And then Hardy Family Office, it's a promo, deleted, because Rochester is such an awful town, uses awful people and don't deserve a legend like Big Money Matt. This leads to Dark Order, Alan 5, Angels, Alex Reynolds, Colt Cabana, Eva Uno, Vance, and Stu Grayson with Orange Cassidy versus the Hardy Family Office. That's enough there. We see Evil Uno and his faction try to walk out, but -1, Anna J. Tai Conte, and let them and trying them to get their stuff together and stand for. They come back and Tope, Cabana Angel with Asi moonsault, Alex with a dive of his own, and 10 even hits a suicide spear. See John Silver erupting, wiping out the competition, and turning Silver to Jora Joel inside out. Uno's do fatality, earning the victory for the team, and after the match, Preston Vance on his shoulders in celebration of honour of father. Thank you, Brody Chance. I mean, this was obvious, but 60.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up being sort of utter chaos in the ring, I think, and you're not really able to kind of really see anything go on. I think this was just merely a way to honour Brody Lee, and what a way to honour him it was. I mean, I even got emotional at the end, just seeing little -1 up on the arms of 10. You know, I also hope that this storytelling, like I said, is going to go somewhere, especially because it feels like a real family affair. You know, you had -1, Brody's son. You had -1's mother out there. You know, you've got to capitalize on this if you're going to bring them out. You know, so if we're not getting what I think it is that we're getting, which is going to be a new Dark Order leader, that being one potential Bray Wyatt, then I don't know what this story building is leading to, you know? I don't want to jinx it too much by discussing it, because if I don't want it to not happen. But at the same time, this is good storytelling only if it's going to lead somewhere. If it's not going to lead somewhere that's got a big payoff, then I kind of feel like this has just been a waste of fans' time. And I don't want that to be the case.
I know, but in a way, to think about it, it's like, oh, who could come in to sort out the Dark Order and all their problems and trouble? Would it be Bray Wyatt? Well, no. You know, like I said, it's just very simple who comes out to sort them. You're going to know more. Husband was part of the group. She would be, I'm not saying she's the new leader of Dark Order, but if anybody could sort them out, it would be her. And I think it's quite clever. They did that because it's more of emotional attachment than, like you said, an outsider coming in. And being a part of it. So I didn't mind it. Like I said, I don't know if the Dark Order's problems are all sorted or it will continue, but at that point, I think it was a nice moment.
It definitely kind of felt more like a family affair when it was her coming out to kind of sort them out.
We get a Leo Rush video package. John's been hitting him up for months, so he'll be all elite, and here he is. Good for him. Then we see FTR and Tony Blanchard.
But didn't he come out before? I was really confused by this, only because wasn't he like already revealed to be all elite? So where has he been?
He retired.
Yeah, but he came out, didn't he? At one of the pay-per-view events, he was like in like either the Battle Royale or something.
Yeah, but he retired afterwards.
Oh, did he?
He had a 3-month retirement. Yeah, 3-month retirement where he's then back in it. Been signed by AEW twice this year. Yeah. Again,
I don't know what he did to get so lucky though, because of like, I mean, I've not really seen him do anything. So I hope that he actually does have a decent run and doesn't go off and do another fake I'm retiring again.
We'll see what happens. And FTR and Tully Blanchard cut a promo of the greatest mind in tag wrestling. They're revitalised, refocused, and that's bad news for the rest of the tag division and good news for them and the Pinnacle. And then we get a viral promo for Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year. It's all a lot over here, right? There's reign over the company after Chris Jericho and Jake Hager last Friday on Rampage. This is meant to help Sky and Page, but it was Masvidal that knocked Jericho out, not these two guys. But Page did okay. I didn't mind it. Like I said, he's a good size, he's a good look, good on the promos. Just don't look at Impact about a tag team. Just don't. It will make you feel bad, you know. Because you left Impact not to be part of a tag team. Well, he's going to be.
And
Christian.
now you are part of a tag.
You're part of a tag team, and your partner is now going to be World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know. Anyway, we get Sheena and Deeb with a video package building to the match next week. Can Sheena get to in the Hardy family office? Penny Ford and the Bunny versus TJ. Of course, Anna Jay and Tay Conti and the Hills controlled the match throughout. But late match flurry by the Bayface included a springboard crossbody from the victory of the strength of Jay's Queenslayer sleeper. Ford. I've got no comment about the match, but I like the matching outfits. I've moaned about this before. your proper tag team. And like we talk about, will they introduce an AEW tag team women's division? Is there enough women in the division to make tag team?
Exactly, and I definitely saw their sort of matching gear and felt like, you know, this could be a silent nod to something potentially happening in the works of, you know, female tag team championship belts. It would be very exciting to see, because I do think that we do have a few different teams coming together, female teams coming together, that I think could potentially work. We kind of saw some you know, form of tag team division happening and forming around you know, the tournament they did, the women's tag tournament they did. So it would be interesting to see if they capitalize off of this now, and see like kind of where things can go for the women as a tag division as well.
Yeah, I think about that would be interesting. Speaking about Jay Cargill, Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa, or eyes to it, and then we get MJF coming out, some guy, but Darby disagreed. And MJF talking about why Darby had a straight edge is because of the death of his uncle in a car accident, eh? Yeah, your dead uncle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was just so offensive and just uncalled for, and I just really didn't need that. I think MJF is getting worse, and I don't think it's fair to capitalize off of that. Like, even if it is just to kind of solidify the fact that he is a heel, you can be a decent heel and not actually be bringing up the likes of, you know, accidental death. I just don't find that. I don't find it funny or entertaining, and I just find it outright disrespectful. So I wasn't really impressed by MJF's little stunt there, and I'm glad that Darby Allin didn't react to it either.
Yeah, he
probably knew it was coming anyway, but I kind of just like, I'm glad that he reacted like that, because I don't know personally. I don't think my anger would have I wouldn't have been able to hold back on that sort of thing. But it just goes to show who the bigger person is when Darby can control himself and handle himself like that.
Well, like you said, anybody can say something shocking.
And like seeing kind of the reaction of MJF not knowing what to do because he wasn't actually attacking him and stuff. It actually kind of made for good TV. It's almost like he's losing his edge. Like, you know, it is that saying of sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt, you know? It's like, what is MJF without his words? So that's an interesting concept.
Well, I always say, you know, sticks and my bones will hurt. We move on, main event, and it is Miro, champ, very dominates. He got back in it and delivered a cutter and tried for the fought out and delivered a big kick to the turnbuckle pad from multiple corners. He did against Eddie Kingston. Ferrer del Sol attempt to intervene, but Miro knocked him out. Guerrero sent Miro into the turnbuckle, stunning him for delivering the GTH up to 6:30 senton, and won the title by pinfall. Yes, your new TNT champion. It's Sammy Guevara in his third match of the year. What were your thoughts on this before I start having a go?
I mean, I definitely was shocked by the outcome. I did not see Sammy winning this. I honestly believe that Miro would have, you know, come out on top. So I was shocked. However, it wasn't until Sammy won this belt, I instantly just thought of how great would it be if him and Malachi Black had a feud for this title. And this was where, like, I originally was talking earlier about Malachi Black, you know, kind of stalking a babyface that is the TNT title holder. And this is where that idea came from. And it was because Sammy won. And I didn't really see it going this way, but I could see Sammy and Malachi Black having a really good feud, where Malachi eventually will take it from him. I would like to see this happen.
Yeah, like, and you saying that is the kind of only positive I can maybe take out of this, because 329 days unbeaten, 120 days as champion, and now what? Like we talk about, we've got Omega as a world heavyweight champion. We've got obviously Sammy as TNT title. Where does Miro go? You know, at least John Cena was the one to beat him in WWE. Sammy fucking, like I said, had 4 matches this year. Don't get Sammy's biggest fan. I think you can tell that. But it will be nice to see him wrestle more frequently, you know. But like I said, that Black feud there.
I am a bit more frustrated at the fact that it wasn't the likes of, like, Eddie Kingston beating someone like Miro, because that I can understand a bit more. Like, Eddie Kingston is the Mad King. And when, you know, Miro had called him out, I was very excited to see a match go off between those two. So yeah, so to then have like him versus Miro versus Sammy a few weeks later, I was definitely surprised by this change in title. I wasn't expecting it at all. But yeah, again, that being said, the minute that he did change title to him, I just instantly was thinking about Malachi Black and thinking this would be a great run, you know. And I wonder whether or not if you know Tony Khan's on the same page as me, and that's why this was the reason for the title change.
Well, yeah, like I said, the TNT title changed in hometown, like I said, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, we know where Miro is now, don't we?
limbo,
He's in limbo. Anyway,
limbo.
I think we've just come up with a new thing. So anyway, one last episode. Like I said, it's been
In limbo for
yeah, this has been like I said, quite a long show. But we have got one episode left of AEW's Rampage, and it opens with Bryan Danielson, Jackson. I can't remember who said to me that AEW is starting off a great match. You know what I mean? But I'm seeing it here. This is.
I'm pretty sure that was someone like really intelligent and
you know?
yeah.
Well,
Greatly respected with the wrestling community, you know.
Who's kind of, you know, when they go places shows, they build it up. And they, you know, like that's. I don't think we get it on. Anyway, into the match, and we see Bryan's torturing unnatural ways. Ty turns with his Danielson. Bryan absorbs a bunch of chest kicks, spits in Nick's face, comes back with a German sort of ring apron. Again, after Jackson and a Cutler, Bryan comes back with his own German side. He takes out Matt and puts Nick away via tap out with the cattle mutilation. And before I get your thoughts on it, one of the things I like is obviously the LeBell lock, the yes lock that he's using. It seems like he's trying to put it in the cattle mutilation. Again, it makes more sense because it's a brutal looking move as well. Yeah,
It really is, and like kind of goes to show as well. Like I think the commentators may have said it. It might not have been this match. It might have been a previous match, but they mentioned, you know, like more of the American Dragon style. Daniel Bryan is coming out like that more aggressive side of him, and that is something we definitely didn't see on within WWE to an extent where I'm thinking, you know, Daniel Bryan was always sort of like this fun-loving person that they could rely on for good TV. But like this time around, it doesn't really feel like Daniel Bryan is there just to make good TV. He's there because he's got passion. He's got a hunger for this, and you could just see, you know, him just doing what he loves best and not really kind of caring for the rules. It was really nice to kind of see him playing with these different move sets that we definitely wouldn't have seen him do it in WWE as well.
Yeah. Like I said, Bryan's extra viciousness fits right into the character in time as well. And then after the match, we see a brawl break out with the Elite. Jurassic Finn Danielson. Jungle Boy gets under Cole in the snare trap while Bryan gets Kenny in the LeBell lock. The Hills tap out at the same time. I don't think I've been looking forward to a multi as much as I have this one. And this is just like I said, this is from the build of the end of All Out in time. You know, that's in line with. We see. Hobbs
Exactly as you said as well. Is exactly as you said as well. You know how with the Jungle Boy and Adam Cole match, just to kind of see them then team up with, you know, those that they trust is just going to make for an amazing group match between them all.
Like I said, I cannot wait for Dynamite, and I know we've spoken like nearly 2 hours about Dynamite and Rampage, but I can't wait. This is AEW at this moment. Hobbs and Hook. We see with video package where Ricky Stark talks trash about Brian Cage. Yes, Brian Cage is still part of the roster. CM Punk is a tape promo. He talks about wanting to fight the best people in AEW. Whoever steps up is going to sleep. DJ Cargill did a Rosa and Nyla Rose in a three-way no disqualification. A powerbomb Nyla Rose through a table on the outside of the ring while Thunder was trying to drag Nyla back in. Cargill blocked from behind with repeated chair strikes and then pinned Rosa from AEW. I mean, Rosa was next to face Britt. I mean, now I think we all know where she is.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, this match went hard, and I loved every minute of it. It was great to see all of these ladies just kind of go at it. The strengths in each of them are different and yet work so well together. So I thought this match was great. I thought this could have actually been a main event type of match. But yeah, really kind of wondering where things are going to go from here for Jade, because obviously she's kind of also a heel. So I wonder if, you know, how things are going to go with Britt versus Jade, because that is clearly what they've got to be leading to, especially with Jade being undefeated.
I'd say good stuff in the end, and they might be leading to Ruby Soho's Jade Carr gimmick there, because like I said, it was Thunder Rosa, but it wasn't bad. Malachi Black promo where he says he hopes the black mist seeps in every nook and cranny of Cody's body. I'm sorry, but nook and cranny for a heel just makes me laugh. Anyway,
I mean, I thought he was kind of reciting like a sort of a, old children's story or something like that.
It's a nook and cranny. Anyway, we see... Well, next week, we get a Casino Ladder match. That will include John Moxley, Andrade, Pac. Yes, hashtag Pac back. Lance Archer.
Yeah, Pac is back.
And 2 entrants to be named. And the Joker. We'll get more info after the episode. And Mark Henry interviews Orange Cassidy and Jack Evans for the main event. And again... The women's match should have been main event. I would agree.
Really should have.
I mean, this was nothing. This is Orange Cassidy defeating Jack Evans. Jack Evans was never going to be a threat.
Like, this just kind of reminded me of like the sort of was it Bobby Lashley, Donald Trump, lose your hair thing. Like, I wasn't overly impressed with it. I didn't really feel like it needed to be the main event. I would have actually preferred the women's triple threat. I thought the women's triple threat came hard, and it would have actually been a great way to have sent everyone home, because if they would have all been like pissed that Jade won, but then at the same time, Thunder Rosa just put Nyla Rose through a table.
Yeah.
But that's impressive. They could have ended up on a more of a high than just watching Jack Evans get his head half shaved.
Like you said, we see Cassidy with the orange punch for the win, and Matt Hardy opts back, and they're shaving Jack's head as well, and Brody comes out. And then we get told Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy announce for the Casino Ladder match, along with, like I said, the Archer and the Joker. So, I mean, thoughts overall, it didn't really work as a main event. I want to talk about quickly that ladder match, because obviously we're releasing it the day of Dynamite. So out of Moxley, Pac, Andrade, Archer, Cassidy, Matt Hardy, or the Joker, who do you...
I actually, and this isn't just because we were discussing both of them earlier, but I actually think that both Andrade and Pac have a good chance at winning. I would like it if it was Pac that won. I do want to see him get more push, especially because he has been missed on AEW shows, so it would be really nice to have like a continuous run, seeing him week in, week out. It does depend on who the Joker is going to be, though, isn't it?
Well, who do you want the Joker to be? Because there's someone I want to be, and if it's not, I'm going to be very disappointed.
You want the Joker to be?
Yeah, I think everybody wants the Joker to be someone. I think, if you know what I'm trying to say, like.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't want him walking to the ring.
For you.
Yeah, not just someone personally, not like Paul Gascoigne, like someone who can actually, win the match. I think someone that might come 4 legs rather than
4 legs.
Yeah, what? Well,
why am I being slow at this? I'm pretty sure I feel like I should be caught on this already, but I'm not. Help me out. I'm slow.
He might ride something to the ring.
Oh, of course! Please bring back Daddy Page, Hangman Page. Do you know what? Actually, yes. Give me Hangman Page back and have him win it, please. I completely forgot about that, and I feel now like the most terrible Uber fan ever, because I completely forgot about my Daddy Page. Don't let him hear this podcast, okay? Because I don't want him knowing that I forgot that.
Well, that is the guy. If he and it's set up, then can All Out. This is a great way to. If we thought All Out, if that was, we ain't seen nothing yet. This is going to be your full Page. If it happens,
hell yes,
it does.
I mean, not only that, but just having someone like Hangman Page return when we've just gotten the likes of like Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole in here. Like, I mean, now there's even more dream matches that we all kind of want to see. So yes, please bring back Daddy Page as the Joker.
Without doubt. Well, rating wise, Dynamite 2 for the previous, and Rampage was the worst in its 8-week history. 600 but it was the third highest. So it's the demo's not working to go after down maybe. But that's saying,
I do think that we need to change the time, and that is not just because we're UK fans. So if you could actually get it starting even as early as SmackDown at 1 a.m., I can stay up to be able to watch that. But yeah, I do think time-wise it might be a bit too late. So they should think about whether or not to change that.
Without a doubt, like it's time that has out will be fan. But that is it for AEW month as it was, as we've just covered. Are you still as excited now as you were after the main event of All Out, after Dynamite or Rampages?
Oh hell yes! I'm so excited for the future of AEW. I do think that it has a lot of potential to create a lot of great history-making wrestlers. So I'm just excited and intrigued each week to see what the next Dynamite's going to bring.
Well, without a doubt, and I can't wait, like I said, us together on along the ride to see what Dynamite and Rampage is going to be like next time as well. Finally, you know what? I know it's your birthday. I know you've had lots of big... But we actually celebrate our anniversary as well. September 30 was your very first show on the WNR podcast. It was Clash of 2020.
Amazing.
How much time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It does. Definitely. I mean, I've just had lots of fun doing this.
It's been crazy, that's in a good way. And like you said, and the thing I like about it as well is that we could be the biggest kind of AEW fans or W fans or whatever it is, and because you get so involved in it, and it's like you said, when you mentioned Guevara Black, and I'm thinking, yeah, and it's even like Hangman Adam Page, that's what makes it, because we're fueling each other's fire.
Exactly, and it's not even about the companies here, it's about the wrestlers. It's the wrestlers that bring us their content each and every week, and it's thanks to them that we can then converse like this. And as you said, feed off of each other and actually give each other even a bit more insight to different events and situations that happen. So just forever enjoyable, really. Is a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. And I like to think you had a part of that, because wrestling was great this time last year. And then look what's happened since then. But like I said, a year down.
Definitely made it.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Definitely made things better.
And it's always like I said, but I'm going to offer you up a curveball here, because I said Clash of Champions 2020 was the very first show you done on the WNR. I'm going to ask you what the main event was, and I know thing to do.
Drew McIntyre. Was it Drew McIntyre versus someone?
No.
Was it Drew McIntyre versus? Oh, I don't know. Who was it?
It was Roman Reigns versus Jey.
Wait, at Clash of Champions?
Clash of Champions.
Jey Uso wasn't a champion. Oh, I mean, this is coming from the same company that called their pay-per-view Extreme Rules, and then he had one main event on. That was Extreme Rules.
Again, it's been a long year with WWE, but like I said, I'm thankful that you joined me for Dynamite and Rampage. But that is it. Before we go,
thank you for having me again.
It's always a pleasure, never a chore, Like I say, don't forget, across all social media, Twitter at the WNR Podcast. I'm at the WNRJR. Where can they find you, Jaxie?
Yep, I'm across Instagram and Twitter at Jaxie Scarlett.
WNR also on Facebook and Instagram, across all the Google platforms. Send us an email to WNRpodcast@gmail.com. I wonder how fast I can actually say the last bits, because it gets faster every time. And YouTube, the WNR Podcast, where all the latest clips and podcast guys at the same time. YouTube is do SoundCloud on your phone. Also Spotify and iTunes. You can download, subscribe, rate and review there. So that is it. If you play that on iTunes now at the slow speed, that will sound normal. Anyway, that is it for now. Our next episode is Impact Victory, the ultimate one. Yes, we've got... And the next time with Jax, I've roped her in because she has to join, because it's coming for the first time live show. The ultimate one, of course, Jaxie and myself will be there for the WNR Halloween Special 2021.
Woohoo!
I know.
Well, you're just lucky that I enjoy doing this so much.
Well, the thing is, I'm going to throw Crown Jewel at everybody, so I'll see what people think afterwards, But we wanted
Well,
to
I
scary
mean, I'm
shows.
sure people will be very intrigued and excited to hear my dismay as to whether or not I liked or disliked Crown Jewel. So we shall see.
Yeah, we shall. But until then, like I said, I've been James Valens and I was joined by fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. Like I said, happy anniversary. Thanks for, and like I said, long may it keep.
Definitely. And thanks again for having me. And thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, hang on. That's my line. Thanks for listening, everybody. And bye.
I'm sorry. It just kind of came out as I was thanking you at the same time.
It's fine. We've ended the show now. I will say thanks for listening, everybody, and bye again.